This is Deep South Dining on MPB Think Radio. Good morning to our listeners, and good morning, Carol. It's nice to see you, as always.
Hey, Mal.
How are you?
What a beautiful day.
Indeed it is. So today we have a culinary historian and author of two-time James Beard award-winning book, The Cooking Gene, as well as The Rice and Kosher Soul. He has written for many publications, been featured throughout print and broadcast media, including The Guardian, The New York Times, The Washington Post, our very own PBS, and of course NPR's Splendid Table.
Michael Twitty is international, Malcolm.
He's global, and we are delighted that you are here. Welcome, Michael Twitty.
Thank you so much. And I'm a frequent visitor to Holly Springs.
All right. Well, there you have it.
It.
What's the connection?
Yes, for many years running, was working with Chelius Carter on the Behind the Big House tour.
Oh, yeah.
And doing interpretation of food for the young people and for the community.
Great.
Well,
we thought you might have bought Elvis, too. Graceland, too.
No.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, we worked a lot on that when I was at the Arts Commission. I remember that project fondly, but I don't know. We may have met, we may not have. But either way, it's really good to see you. You're coming to us live from New York City, and you are out and about touring your magnificent new cookbook. And tell us a little bit about recipes from the American South.
I want to kind of start off a conversation by saying that I think that the introduction is something I'm particularly proud of because, first and foremost, I think there's this thing that we have argued against for many years, trying to describe Southerners as a monolith. I think people need to understand that the South is a microcosm of the American experience, and without it, we really don't have much to talk about. And I say that because migrations, movements, musical styles, our food culture, involves everybody. It's Filipinos in Louisiana going back 250 years. It's the Isleño community. It's the people who have been here for millennia. The Salagi, Muskogee, the Cherokee, and the Creek, and the Choctaw, Chitimacha, and beyond, Chickasaw, Seminole, Miccosukee. It's Melungeon culture. It's Cajun culture. It's Appalachian culture. It's Gullah Geechee culture. It's the people who have the Piedmont and the Chesapeake. And yes, y'all, I include the Chesapeake and Tidewater in there because when I've heard Mississippians say on several occasions, well, Virginia ain't the South or Maryland ain't the South. And I'm like, where do you think your ancestors came from?
Yeah, no.
You won't hear us say that.
You're not going to hear us say that, Michael.
Right. And St. Mary's County, Maryland, with the stuffed ham with collards and turnip greens stuffed into it, and Maryland fried chicken and, okra soup with crab. That's the real Maryland cooking.
Right.
And Baltimore's version of barbecue is pit beef, and it's not a mayonnaise-based sauce or a tomato-based sauce. It's horseradish based, but always with some Old Bay on it. So I just want to make sure that people understand this project, this book, is about it's a family reunion of sorts. I always like to say we Southerners are a dysfunctional family, but we're still a family.
We are. And Michael, I really enjoyed the introduction to the book. And, you can turn a phrase. And my book has lots of yellow highlighting in it. But one of the sentences that really struck me at the first is you said, the South itself is very much self-aware of the push-pull between competing stereotypes of Southern history and identity. There are so many competing stereotypes.
Mm-hmm. The extravagant, opulent patrician tables, the American Downton Abbey, and then hard scrabble Tobacco Road. It's that like, okay, but it's also, the yeoman farmer culture. I can do for myself. I can grow things in my own land. I don't need you. And it's also the collective culture, the culture of, oh, nice to meet you. What church did you go to?
Who are your people?
Other things. It's also, but we have to remember the South is also immigrant culture.
Right. Very much.
South is also queer culture. I was explaining to a podcast interviewer a few minutes ago that, okay, where is the South without those of us who are LGBTQIA, who are, we're the choir directors, we're the teachers, we're the nurses, we are the professors, we're the antiquarians, we're the antique dealer, we are the gospel singers, we're the historical interpreters and genealogists. We across the board, we're the writers. And so all this stuff gets put together, and I just think of it as a calling for us to get real.
Well, this book is just huge in scope, and it just led me to thinking about your book, The Cooking Gene, which won the James Beard Award a few years ago, where you're interpreting your own ancestry and journey. Mm-hmm. And in this book, you're speaking for all of us, for all of those groups that you just mentioned, that you said came out of migrations, marriages, and mayhem. I mean, you are truly speaking for all of these people.
My family is, well, when I say my family, it's not one group, it's many groups. But my mother's father's people came from Phoenix City, Alabama. And do you know what Phoenix City, Alabama was famous for?
I don't.
Mm-mm.
It was basically like a little country Vegas.
Oh.
So when you say mayhem, we mean mayhem.
Yeah.
So
it's like that. It's like that Buford-Pusser Tennessee line on the Mississippi-Tennessee line, walking tall.
Yes. And at one point I didn't quote him. I wish I did. But one of my favorite books growing up, one of my absolute favorite books growing up, was Good Old Boy.
Willie Morris, a good friend of both of ours.
Are you kidding me? May he rest in peace. Oh my God. Transformative for me in terms of my writing. Willie Morris, Alice Walker, Pat Conroy, who we shared the same guidance counselor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, as well. And so many other people that helped tell the story. And when you said all of us, that made me feel a certain kind of way. That made me feel a sense of deep responsibility. Because for all of our issues and all of our ongoing traumas, my citizenship is Southern. My soul is Southern. And I just wish people would understand that we are in this together, and we have a story to tell about who we are.
If you're a supporter of MPB, thank you for helping be a producer of Deep South Dining on MPB Think Radio. Our fall on-air fundraising campaign is happening now. Joining me in the studio is Jermaine Flood and Jason Smith.
MPB Think Radio. We consider you a partner in our mission to bring information, insight, and education to the people of Mississippi. There's no minimum, no special membership fees. It's all up to you. You decide. You decide what it means for millions of people. A third of them under the age of 18 have educational resources through MPB because of you. What can you pitch in? That's really up to you. Won't you be our neighbor? Join the effort by calling us or texting the word GIVE to 888-372-4483. That's 888-372-4483, or donate at mpbonline.org.
You make great things happen when you support MPB. We can tickle your taste buds Monday mornings with Deep South Dining. Malcolm White invites you to join the discussion and share your own family secrets. Felder Rushing gets his hands dirty on Fridays and Saturdays with Gestalt Gardner. They feel like neighbors because, well, they are. And they're here on MPB with the financial support of MPB listeners. That's you. Please pitch in right now with a contribution that you think is fair.
That's right, Jason. Now, if you normally renew your MPB Think Radio membership when Pledge Drive comes along, we'll hope you'll take care of that right now. MPB Think Radio relies on you, your neighbors, and friends who consider public radio to be an essential source of credible information, a discussion that's thoughtful and civil, and an educational mission that's recognized around America as one of the best. The fact is, Mississippi needs you right now. Please renew your MPB Think Radio membership. It only takes 3 minutes at mpbonline.org. Call 888-372-4483. And we have a new option. You can text the word GIVE to 888-372-4483.
Let's say you support MPB at $5, $10, or $20 a month. You'll get a free member benefit. It's called PBS Passport. Passport offers access to on-demand libraries of quality public television programs online. So some programs are only on Passport. You can watch hundreds of hours of PBS programming on demand, including season 1 of the moving series Gospel, episodes of Nova, Nature, and Finding Your Roots. The reason we can offer you Passport is because MPB radio and TV are family. You will be too with this special benefit. If you're not already a member with PBS Passport access, call and we'll sign you up. 888-372-4483, or become a sustainer at $5 a month or more at mpbonline.org.
Now, Jason, here's something I think we can agree on. It's better to live amongst neighbors who are educated, well-informed, and excited about being part of the culture of Mississippi, right?
Absolutely.
Well, that's why MPB is here. As neighbors, we have a lot to be proud of and a lot of reasons to be on the same page about education, culture, and the good things in life. There are a lot of people raising their hands and saying, yes, I want to be a good neighbor and help MPB right now. Do your part and we'll help do the rest. If you find yourself listening a lot each week and you can make a donation of, say, $100 or $250, become a sustainer. Please call or text the word GIVE. It's the easiest way. 888-372-4483, or give in 3 minutes at mpbonline.org. And like we like to say around here, Jason, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Deep South Dining on MPB Think Radio. I'm Marissa Vaughn, and for today's Drive Time episode, we're sharing an interview with Michael W. Twitty about his new cookbook, Recipes from the American South.
Well, my wife's people are from the northern neck of Virginia, and I know that you are a Virginian, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And, and her people are about as southern as any that I know. I wonder if you would talk a little bit how you define, and I don't mean it has to be a strict geographic define, but how do you define the American South?
Oh, absolutely not strict. I think there's. I've told people this a lot. There is no sweet tea line. There's no grits line. It doesn't exist, and it doesn't exist because Americans, especially post highways and automobiles, are even more of a mobile people than our ancestors on foot, by train, or by wagon. And what that means is the minute McDonald's put sweet tea on the menu nationwide, the sweet tea line went out the window. Hardee's went on with the biscuits, which we can make better at home. It all went out the window. And I was one time, I used to go take the bus. We got to Richmond, Virginia. And there was this lady, and she was so happy, the look on her face. And it was 5 o'clock in the morning. Can I just tell y'all something? Let me give y'all a little tip. Do not eat anything coming out of the Richmond Greyhound station.
Well noted.
God will not forgive you. This woman said something that was so interesting to me. She was coming from New York. And the first thing she wanted to do when they got to Richmond and had this hour transfer, she says, I love coming south because I can get grits again. I'm just thinking to myself, baby, you ain't never been to Harlem, have you? Or Bed-Stuy, or many other parts of the New York area. But you asked me about how I define the South. And the South is not the Mason-Dixon line. The South is not the Confederacy. Let me repeat that. People don't understand this. The South is not the Confederacy. It is not Confederate history. That is 4 years of a 400-year-old region.
All right.
It is really critical to understand. And yes, we can unpack why that is, but we're right now, for me, the South is the majority of the census South. I don't always know if Delaware is in there, but I do know that Southern Delaware definitely is. It's no different than any part of the Delmarva. Southern Delaware is no different than the northern neck of Virginia. It's no different from the eastern shore of Virginia. It's the same culture because it was the same people for several hundred years. You got to include large swaths of Missouri in there. You got to, people don't understand,
Well, Missouri has a very serious barbecue tradition.
Yes, and Little Dixie and the Boot Heel and all that, and the Ozarks. You got to include at least the deep east of Texas. I kind of have a little line in my head between there and San Antonio. I think it's just, deep east Texans are more likely to say I am a Southern person than people from other parts of Texas. In Oklahoma, Louisiana, you got to put it in. I don't distinguish between Creole and Cajun food I don't define it as not being part of Southern food. It is. And of course, Southern Ohio, Southern Ohio, Southern Indiana, and Southern Illinois. Because I know people understand this. Above the line, Highway 70, more people settled when there was a wagon road, settled from Pennsylvania, New England, and New York. But beneath it, the majority were from the South, the seaboard South, Virginia, Kentucky, and Tennessee. Right? Abraham Lincoln moves from Kentucky to Indiana to Illinois as his family goes in search of virgin farmland. That's one of many, many narratives. But the bottom line is people forget how big Virginia used to be. Virginia was what we now know as Commonwealth of Virginia, plus West Virginia, plus Kentucky and parts of Tennessee.
Right.
Hell, Virginia used to be Michigan.
Right.
That's how crazy it was. So, of course, there's that connection. So for me, the South is also the migrations of white and black Southerners out of the South. The largest forced migration in American history was the domestic slave trade, and the largest voluntary migration in American history was the Great Migration from the early 1900s to the 1970s. And then, of course, white migration, particularly from Appalachia, is very important. Detroit, other Midwestern cities, and the Okies and the Arkies went out to California. So once we understand that, and also check the cowboy trails that led up from Texas to the mountain states, the Southern impact on migration is so critical and so important. You can study it through the census. And it's wild. The birthplace of people, the vast majority that you find in the West, that was us, our mutual ancestors. And then, of course, looking at how Southern culture morphs and impacts people today is really exciting because people don't get it. I mean, in this cookbook, we have recipes for collard green empanadas and chorizo dirty rice and, references to Viet Cajun food and so on. And this isn't a joke, and it's not a secret. This is who we are. We morph, and we recombine, and we've always made something new out of ourselves, out of the old.
Well, and this is why people call Southern cuisine America's cuisine too, because we spread it everywhere. Mm-hmm. And I want to get back to those collard green empanadas because I hope we get to talk about some of the great recipes But right next to the collard green empanadas are the Chinese Mississippi collard greens. And,
Yes.
we can't help but want to talk about ourselves. And, we're really proud of the Chinese heritage of our Mississippi Delta region. And it spoke to me that you included this recipe in the book.
Well, it's because I did the chows.
Yeah.
I actually
The chow
worked with
family.
them. Yeah, at the Smithsonian Folklife Festival. Husband and wife and a couple of daughters were there, and I worked with them on a couple of different demonstrations of recipes. I'll never forget. She said, she said in a very, very Delta accent, "Now everybody, remember the key to Chinese food is SOG: salt, oil, garlic, and sometimes ginger."
Well, she is
Yeah,
right.
so did the recipe, and so I had to include it in the book. I didn't have personal connection with them at that time, but I do remember. We were like four sessions with them, hour each, and I was up on stage and helping them to culturally contextualize and guide through the recipe. Yeah.
Thank you for listening to Deep South Dining on MPB Think Radio. Our fall on-air fundraising campaign is on. We're asking you to chip in what you can. It's important that we hear from you while you have a few minutes to spare. Here today with more about how your contribution will make a difference is Jermaine Flood and Jason Smith.
It's MPB Think Radio. I'm Jason Smith. Today, we're on the air to ask you to support the news and information you rely on each day. The funding model for a listener-supported station is simple. We make fresh programs each weekday, and then we ask for community support for it financially. It's a relationship that only works when you get involved. So we ask you, won't you be our neighbor? I'm joined today by Jermaine Flood.
That's right. Thank you so much, Jason. Giving to MPB Think Radio is like investing in the community's understanding in the world and ourselves. Invest $10, $15, or $20 a month as an MPB sustainer, and you'll support thousands of hours of news and thoughtful discussion each year. That's the beauty of public broadcasting. Since the beginning, we found that the most reliable source of our funding has come from the community. Maybe you own a business and you're a sponsor. Maybe you're able to offer a matching grant for pledge drives. Or you're a sustainer who can add a few dollars to your monthly support. All of it is pooled to make MPB Think Radio an important voice in the community. Our phone number is 888-372-4483 or text the word GIVE to 888-372-4483. It'll just take 3 minutes to do your part at mpbonline.org.
Now, you may be fortunate enough to have taken family vacations or picnics as a kid, and quite possibly you were the one who got squished in the back seat.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, we've all been there. And a lot of times public radio is what you remember hearing while you were taking that road trip. You probably thought of it as talk radio, but this is think radio. And the difference is the tone and the content of the conversations. MPB is here to inform you and help you come away with something of value. And now it's your turn to get involved in the making of this public radio, literally and financially. So help preserve public radio for the next backseat generation by investing in MPB right now.
They're back there. They're
Yes, they
squished
are.
up. Now, listen, here's a
touching
good
me.
thing. I know, right? In the book, This Beautiful Day, Daily Wisdom from Mr. Rogers, will see touching quotes like this, and I know you'll remember this. I would like to tell you what I often told you when you were much younger. I like you just the way you are. I remember that. That book, along with the Mr. Rogers sweater changing mug and a pair of Mr. Rogers socks, is yours when you contribute $120 or $10 a month as an MPB monthly sustainer. Just ask about the Mr. Rogers gift bundle when you call or text the word GIVE to 888-372-4483 or see the bundle and donate at mpbonline.org.
I will always love Mr. Rogers.
Me too.
Given the way that public radio is funded, this station probably shouldn't exist right now.
Right.
All those years ago when listener-supported radio was born, people wondered, why should I pay for something I get for free? But people still ask that question, and the only answer we have is that people value the local, non-commercial perspective MPB brings. They get that it's listener-supported, and they give something each year to protect it. So if you value what you can only get from MPB, and there's a lot, and if you've never given MPB before, why not start now?
That's right.
Our phone number is 888-372-4483. You can text or call, and our website is mpbonline.org.
That's right. Now, for years, critics of federal funding for public broadcasting have argued that MPB and other stations should be able to go it alone. So now that the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, PBS, and NPR have been defunded, the public is being tested. Will you and your neighbors be able to rally for Mississippi Public Broadcasting? With no more federal funding, our educational services are under threat. And this week, we're asking you and thousands of other MPB listeners to help in any way you can. That way, we don't have to go it alone. It's easy to support what's important to you. Call or text the word GIVE to 888-372-4483. Spend 3 minutes online at mpbonline.org. And thanks.
Welcome back to Deep South Dining on MPB Think Radio. I'm producer Marissa Vaughn, and for today's Drive Time episode, we're sharing an interview with Michael W. Twitty about his new cookbook, Recipes from the American South.
So, Michael, your book talks about being a home cook, a home cook's guide, and you've included, I think, 260 or so recipes. Talk to our listeners about how you design these recipes to be for the home cook versus, the industrial, chef in a restaurant or what have you.
Sure. I don't know the restaurant world. I'm a historic interpreter. I'm a home cook. I'm a culinary historian. I'm a preservationist. I couldn't tell you how to make a mass quantity of these books, of these recipes outside of course, guests. And what I mean, you know what I mean. It's very difficult if you grow up in a traditional cooking system, making dinner for 4.
Right.
That's really hard. You have to really whittle it down because we always end up making food for 10 and 12. Because you don't know who's gonna pop over, who's gonna show up, who's gonna just slide in once they find out. Especially now when they see you on Instagram or something or some other social media form. Oh, he making dinner. Oh, let me pop by there. and you be like, oh shucks, I just shouldn't have put that out there. I got 4 people showing up out of nowhere. But yeah, I really wanted to emphasize the fact that people often ask me, am I a chef? And I'm like, when a person who works the restaurant industry calls me a chef, I take it as a badge of honor. But no, I don't know what it means to work a line. I don't know what it means to work 20, 30 years working 16-hour days.
Gotcha.
I don't know that life. And even if somebody's a personal chef, I don't know that life either. But I do know what it means to make these dishes because I come from a family. A lot of this food is our family's food.
Well, how did you decide what to choose in this huge book, what to make, what to leave out? How did you get structure to it?
So major sections, of course, the first is like the starches. I had to edit my brain because originally we set out for 400. You know how hard it is to write 400 recipes for a book like this?
I can only imagine.
It's every recipe, not the rubs, not some of the sauces, but like the baked goods and the meat dishes, a lot of vegetable dishes. That represents between 12 and 36 hours of work per recipe. That's why it takes 4 to 5 years. And I forgot. There's variations, which also kind of ups the recipe amount, but not by much. So it evens at about 300 some, things. But it's like you got to edit, you got to re-edit, you got to work copy editors. You have to test a lot of the recipes or kind of outsource the testing.
I was going to ask you.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of time. It's not like I think a lot of people think about cookbooks. I think that somebody's like taking grandma's 7-Up cake recipe and just transcribing it, giving it a little zhuzh, and then you print it and it's all good and it's all done. Well, that's not how publishers like Fight and others that they're very serious about cookbooks. That's not how they operate. That's a church cookbook, but that ain't no professional cookbook. So that's important to understand. But once you get through that, it's like, can be drudgery sometimes. And I kind of forgot some things, like I forgot fried okra. Oh. I'm so mad about that. Yeah, I know.
You have other
But you know
great
what?
okra things in here.
Yeah, okra pickles, okra soup, okra gumbo, regular boiled okra.
Yeah, but no
I mean,
fried
all
okra.
of that's in there, but no fried okra. And I wish I had put in Smith Island cake, which is from Chesapeake Bay region, not even region, Smith Island, in the middle of the bay.
Well, what about comeback sauce? You didn't put comeback sauce in.
I don't like the K word catsup ingredient.
Ah,
So I was really loath. You'll notice it often says tomato paste and
right.
I was loath. And I didn't know about Henry Bain sauce. You know that?
I don't know that.
It's from Louisville.
Ooh,
It was invented by a black chef early 1900s, and it's still a Louisville staple. Almost like it was at like a social club. Then it spread out from there. So I got a couple things. I didn't do scripture cake, and I really wanted to do scripture cake, but I was just like, really could have. I like recipes, to answer your question, that refer people back to an aspect of Southern culture.
I've got to know about scripture cake. Tell us.
Okay. So what scripture cake is basically, it's a recipe that is based on the King James Bible. And so, if a food is mentioned, say, for example, in Proverbs, the Song of Solomon, or in Genesis, it'll say, add 1 cup of whatever verse in Genesis, or add 1 cup of whatever verse in Ecclesiastes. And it comes from that culture where those of us who grew up that way went to vacation Bible school and had memory verses.
right.
Oh, yeah. Sword drills.
Yeah, right. So you got a little bit of candy or a little bit of something or some tokens or some stickers. How many verses you could remember by heart? My personal best used to be 200.
That's a lot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I still have my little marked up Holy Bible. And that's what, scripture cake comes out of that tradition. And it's a very Baptist and Methodist lady, potluck, oriented. And I wish I had put that in there, but I kind of got a little distracted. But if we think, God willing, if we do a different version of this, different edition, I can throw all those in there.
Yeah, you got quite a list going already of the ones you. Right.
So what drew you to be a culinary historian? I think you're a Howard University guy.
Yeah, but they didn't teach you nothing about that. I mean,
There was no culinary history class.
Yeah, there just wasn't anything. So I was, geared towards food, geared towards writing about food and food history. And from the time I was very young, very little, I remember reading these books, trivia books. We had really good trivia books in the 80s. I don't think children right now understand. Like 80s and 90s is the height of kids' books about trivia. That's because we didn't have this cell phone. And I would often read these little tidbits about how people ate during history, and I wasn't satisfied with, little tidbit information. Like, the Romans had da-da-da-da-da-da, and then there was this emperor, and he liked to drink pearls dissolved in vinegar. Okay. So obviously I want to figure out, why is he dissolving pearls in vinegar and drinking it? B, I think that probably doesn't taste that great. And 3, C, I'm just looking at this going, okay. And the one that got me the most was Thomas Jefferson. So this trivia book had this image of Thomas Jefferson with his red hair pulled back in a ponytail, walking out to his dining room table with a tray in his hand with a silver bell and what looked like a modern apron. And I knew this was nonsense without reading another word. So I was like, well, why? And why do I have this natural nagging feeling that this picture is inaccurate? And of course, it led me to the story of James Hemings, of Fanny Hearn, of Edith Fawcett, of Ursula, Priscilla, the people who actually cooked the food. And in fact, there was a dumbwaiter. He used the dumbwaiter in the kitchen, the dining room, especially during the Revolutionary era, because God forbid these enslaved people hear things about freedom or the progress of the war that might lead them to, Lord Dunmore had a proclamation. You come fight for us, you get your freedom. They still knew what was up. They found a way. But if you notice the spatial geography of Monticello is such that our people didn't have access to information. And so I wanted to make sure this cookbook, which has a lot of, those of you who are listening, I think people need to understand, yes, it's a cookbook, but it's not just like a recipe and a name and moving on. It's context, it's history, it's connection to other recipes, and their essays about how the different recipes fit into a larger scheme of what Southern food is about.
If you're a supporter of MPB, thank you for helping be a producer of Deep South Dining on MPB Think Radio. Our fall on-air fundraising campaign is happening now. Joining me in the studio is Jermaine Flood and Jason Smith.
Thanks for listening to MPB Think Radio. It's our fall on-air fundraising campaign. I'm Jason Smith. Support everything you hear on MPB and see on MPB TV by making a donation in any amount. Our brief fall campaign is a perfect time to help a nonprofit devoted to the education and inspiration of everyone in Mississippi and in the Gulf region. Now here's Jermaine Flood with details on how you can make it a success.
Thanks, Jason. When you make your contribution to support everything you hear on MPB Think Radio, you'll make a big impact for the coming year. We'll invest your gift in the programs that keep you glued to the radio each day. We'll make sure MPB TV is here to educate kids, grandkids, and grown-ups like us who love to learn. MPB is not only investing in programs, we're investing in you. We celebrate the culture and people of the Gulf region and help you make better decisions by keeping you informed. Call or go online to do your part. That's 888-372-4483. Text the word GIVE to 888-372-4483 or online at mpbonline.org.
Now, who writes all those things that roll across your TV cable news screen? Is there any fact-checking going on? Do you ever see them correcting mistakes? When you listen to MPB Think Radio, you know what you're getting. You know the reporters and the hosts, people like Desiree Frazier, Kobe Vance, and Teresa Collier. You trust that our friend Coach Charlie Melton knows all about vehicles. Felder Rushing knows about gardening and horticulture. When you support MPB, you support transparency and expertise right here in the Magnolia State. So please, help us keep it real by making a contribution right now.
That's what we're going to do. We're going to keep it real, Jason.
Yes.
And by now, you know the theme of MPB's fundraising campaign is, won't you be our neighbor? We're asking because we know that here in the hospitality state, we can rely on people like you in times of need. The critical services MPB provides to the community go well beyond television, educational programs, and radio shows. It's the spirit of neighbors helping neighbors when disaster strikes. And MPB is part of the critical statewide infrastructure for emergency alerts. Please make a tax-deductible gift to MPB right now and help keep it going.
That's right, and it is tax-deductible. Remember that.
That's right.
Here are two things we know about local news from a recent Knight Foundation study. Number one, we care deeply about having a source of local journalism to help us stay informed about matters that directly affect our lives. And number two, many of us aren't aware of the financial struggle that those news operations are going through to stay afloat. By supporting MPB, you help remedy that problem. One way you can do that is by investing in the work we do for this community at $1,000 or more. Call now, 888-372-4483, or make your investment at mpbonline.org.
Now, MPB sustainers who give $5 a month or more have an irresistible benefit, PBS Passport. You get special access to on-demand PBS programs through MPB, and Passport is an app on your TV or handheld device just like Netflix and Hulu.
But cheaper.
It's the key, that's right, that opens up a world of programs that you know, like Finding Your Roots, and some that you may not, like Seaside Hotel. This is a free benefit to MPB MPB supporters at the $5 a month or more level. Watch local MPB programs on Passport like Everlasting, The Life and Legacy of Medgar Evers, Mississippi Roads, and Mississippi Antique Showcase whenever you want. We would love for you to sign up to Passport. It takes a few minutes to accomplish a lot. Call or text the word GIVE to 888-372-4483 or do your part online at mpbonline.org. And thanks.
Welcome back to Deep South Dining on MPB Think Radio. I'm Marissa Vaughn, and for today's Drive Time episode, we're sharing an interview with Michael W. Twitty about his new cookbook, Recipes from the American South.
Give us a favorite recipe/story from the book that might intrigue our listeners to dig a little deeper.
Okay. So, I mean, I kind of reference other parts. So for Oklahoma chicken fried steak, I'll talk about how that's part of the Oklahoma state meal. I didn't even know there were state meals. I think it's chicken fried steak, rice and gravy, okra, cornbread, skillet cornbread, hot water cornbread. And iced tea is like the Oklahoma state meal. Or when we talk about chitlins, it's not just chitlins. It's the Chitlin Festival in South Carolina, where they have a dance called the Chitlin Strut. I don't even know what the Chitlin Strut looks like. I'd even care to look it up on YouTube. But all I know is I'm just disturbed immensely by the idea of a chitlin dance or the idea of chitlins being served at all. But I thought it was necessary to have that recipe and pig's feet because I think there's this idea, this stereotype that these foods are just like trash foods or foods people ate out of absolute, need, horrific struggle. And the reality is that's not really how it worked. These were foods people developed a taste for, especially during the time of hog killing. It's nobody else talks about hog killing time. There's a temporal marker, and it's because people made their own bacon, their own ham, their own side meat. And if you didn't eat it fresh, you had to preserve it. Coldest day of the year. Well, hog killing time in Texas might have been early January. Where hog killing time in North Carolina might have been anywhere from November to late December. And you have to kind of respect the fact that Southern food relies on the seasons, ecosystems, a profound knowledge of nature, and a profound interaction with nature. I also have a recipe in there about possum and sweet potatoes. I think possums are very cute. I will never eat a possum. I have never eaten a possum. But at the same point in time, that was one of my great-grandfather's favorite foods was tripe and possum and sweet potatoes. That's just, the stories behind all these things matters. But so does the idea that there was somebody who always appreciated the flavor profile of all of these dishes, these foods. Mm-hmm. That to me is very exciting. And at the same time, it doesn't mean I have to eat it all, because I will not.
Can you talk a little bit about the photography and the photographer?
I think they did a really stand-up job. There's some things where I was a little bit about. So, for example, the translation is really important. So when I had the Madeira ham is an old-school recipe from the 1810s and 20s. And it's cooking the ham, which is really the shoulder, pork shoulder, a fresh picnic ham, right?
Right.
In the spiced, kind of like almost like a mulled wine. And then you boil, you bake a little bit, then you slice it really thin. Of course, that goes on a biscuit or a yeast roll. So that's a delicious sounding thing. Then you have the dip being the sauce in the pot, which is not really a sauce, it's a raw kind of sauce. Mm-hmm. And it's like the juices of the meat plus the mulled wine all mixing together. Kind of dip it in there, or dip the meat in there before you put it thinly sliced, piled on that yeast roll on a biscuit. Y'all hungry yet?
Oh,
we're
man.
hungry yet. But I want to ask if you can offer any words of encouragement to upcoming cooks and chefs and budding food preservationists. How do you start? And also, How important is this work?
Okay, so how do you start? By listening. Listen to your elders. Listen to the experts. Not just on TV, if you can, in real life. And watch their hands, not their faces. One of the most important utensil in the kitchen, in the Southern kitchen, is your hands. My grandmother taught me how to measure with my hands. The different ways that you use tactility to bake. Like the fact that, this is what my favorite one was my grandmother was saying to me, and then my mother said it to me, and it probably goes way back. She said, you pat that dough, work the dough. My mother would always say, don't kill heat up the gluten too much with your hand, the heat of your hands. He was right. And then they said, pat, pat, pat. After you've rolled it good enough, it should be like a baby's bottom. Mm-hmm. I never had a younger brothers and sisters or babies to take care of, but it sort of made sense. And those kind of tips and tickets were really important to me growing up, because it gave you guidelines and boundaries on how you cooked. I would say build up a library. The reason why I have bibliography in this book isn't just to honor sources. It's to show people that if you only could get 5, 10, 20 books, this is the library you need to do and build so you can have some facility with Southern cooking. And of course, the last and most important thing is practice. Work with somebody more than once. Don't assume you got this in one recipe. Also, record how it tastes. Record how this thing that you've made can massively affect the way you process your raw foods into cooked dishes. Yeah.
That's great. Well, Michael, we thank you for your time. Thank you for joining us. We wish you good luck on the remaining leg of your tour or tours and all of your stops in between. Thank you very much for this book. We look forward to hearing about more success coming from Michael W. Twitty and his recipes from the American South.
And I promise you next time I'll include comeback sauce.
I know your fear of ketchup. I understand. Deep South Dining is a production of Mississippi Public Broadcasting's Think Radio. We are made possible by the generous contributions and support from listeners like yourself. We thank you. Our show was produced by Marissa Vaughn. For our special guest, Michael W. Twitty, and my co-host, Carol Palmer, I am Malcolm White.
Thank you for listening to Deep South Dining on MPB Think Radio. Our fall on-air fundraising campaign is on. We're asking you to chip in what you can. It's important that we hear from you while you have a few minutes to spare. Here today with more about how your contribution will make a difference is Jermaine Flood and Jason Smith.
Thanks. This is MPB Think Radio. Hello, I'm Jason Smith, and we're here today to ask you to please help during our fall fundraiser. Now is the time to support in-depth reporting and thought-provoking programs like Deep South Dining here on MPB. We're hoping you can make a donation during our brief campaign. Won't you be our neighbor? And I'm joined today in the studio by one of my favorite neighbors, Jermaine Flood.
You're mine too, Jason. Thanks so much. You might be wondering how you can make a difference for Mississippi and our friends in adjoining Gulf states with one simple act. Some will give what they can all at once, and others will give a manageable amount on a monthly basis. That's what we call sustainer giving. Whatever way you want to support education, information, and inspiration here on MPB Think Radio and MPB Television, I hope you'll join others who are rallying for MPB in the early days of our fall campaign. Please call or text the word GIVE to 888-372-4483 or make your gift at mpbonline.org.
MPB supporters help put Felder Rushing on the radio Fridays and Saturdays with Gestalt Gardner. Horticulture is one of those topics that requires expertise and patience, and I'm terrible at. So I'm grateful for Felder because he's got both. And you know what? So do Malcolm and Carol, who have seasoned our lives with rich heritage of Southern cuisine Monday mornings with Deep South Dining. And then you notice it's not just cooking, it's dining. So won't you be our neighbor and support these programs on MPB? Please make a contribution in any amount.
Now, MPB Think Radio is one of the rare public radio stations in the U.S. that goes on the air only a few times a year for 5 days at a time to do these pledge drives. Some stations do 2 weeks of fundraising at a time. It's not that we don't need the money to pay for programs. Listener support is the major driver of everything you hear on MPB. Robust support means fewer days of fundraising, which means programs come to you uninterrupted 95% of the time each year. All of us are fortunate that MPB listeners are enthusiastic and give generously when these drives come on air. Here's how you can keep that record going. 888-372-4483. You can also text the word GIVE to that number as well. 888-372-4483.
Now, you can support MPB Think Radio with a gift of $60 or even just $5 a month as an MPB sustainer, and we'd love to thank you with the newly designed MPB tote bag. There's something we can all agree on. Mississippi Public Broadcasting is one of those trusted educational institutions in the region, and you'll give a thumbs up for the MPB Think Radio when you pledge $60 or $5 a month as a sustainer. Ask us about the new blue denim tote bag, and we'd love to send one along to you. Call or text the word GIVE to 888-372-4483, and thank you.
Now, when you call or go online to support MPB, we hope you'll consider becoming a monthly sustainer, and that's where you set up a recurring gift of $5, $10, or $20 a month or more on your credit card, and we do all of the rest. No more worries about your support expiring. No more worries about having to send in a check, and you can choose a thank you gift if you wish. Become a sustainer online at mpbonline.org or call right now and we'll help you get it set up. At 888-372-4483, you can also text the word GIVE to that same number, 888-372-4483.
Supporting the station at mpbonline.org is quick and easy, and we hope you'll consider leaving a comment. We'll try to read it on the air, like this one from Bessie from Fayette. She says she loves the storytelling shows that come on after Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me on the weekend.
Thanks, Bessie.
Yeah, and Hibbett from Jackson has a message for Felder. Keep up the good work.
He loves to.
Yes, and he will. He will, and he'll let you know.
Yes, he will.
Whatever it is that you love about MPB, I hope you'll get involved the way that Bessie and Hibbett did. Mm-hmm. Call us at 888-372-4482 or give online at mpbonline.org. And please let us know how you think MPB Think Radio enhances your life.
That's right. Now, MPB only asks for the money needed to keep this station accessible to everyone all of the time. No more, no less. This is a not-for-profit service, and now that federal funding is eliminated, we rely on local donors more than ever. Whether you become a sustainer at $5, $10, or $20 a month, or make a donation of $50, $100, $1 a day, please get involved at 888-372-4483 or take 3 minutes to give online at mpbonline.org, and thank you.